Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Hatton. Ooh, there goes my seat. Let's try that again. All right. Joshua Hatton with Single Cask Nation. And those of you that have seen the two videos that I did for our 23-year-old and 9-year-old Klein Leash, I did say that I would be doing some more videos, and I am. And today I thought I would highlight our Imperial 23-year-old. Bottled at 49.2% alcohol. There are all of the details on that. So refill bourbon barrel rather than a hogshead, so 200-liter cask. Some nice tasting notes for you there. And then, of course, our beloved flavometer. Excuse me. When Jason and I first started Single Cask Nation, now this is back in 2011, we had a bucket list of distilleries that we wanted to bottle from. Obviously, we wanted to do a 30-year-old, not a 30-year-old, but we wanted to do something from the 80s from the Bowmore Distillery. And what we ended up getting was a 30-year-old, which we launched for sale last week or so, and it sold out pretty quickly. Springbank has always been on that list. To bottle, Highland Park has been as well. I can't say we've bottled anything from Highland Park, but I can say that we've bottled from a distillery on the Orkney Isles that is not Scapa. How's that? And then finally, Imperial. Now, Imperial is probably it's the number one distillery that I collect from. And by collect, I don't mean that I buy the bottles and sock them away on a shelf and they just become museum pieces. I buy the bottles to open and enjoy because aside from Springbank, which is my favorite distillery, Imperial is my second favorite distillery, and it's a shuttered distillery. It was once owned by Pernod Ricard. I think it was built in 1897, which quite a few distilleries were built in 1897. Glenmurray comes to mind. Geez, I don't know, I'm having a brain fart. But 1897 was a pretty big year for building distilleries, especially up in Speyside. So oh my gosh. What I like about Imperial is there's always this sort of minerality going on. Like Springbank has a very pronounced nose, a very pronounced palate, very specific flavors that will let you know this is from Springbank. It couldn't be from anywhere else. And I think that Imperial falls within that category. When I nose and taste Imperial, it's one of the very few distilleries that I can blind taste. I can taste it blindly and say, oh, it's from Imperial. Oh, it's from Springbank. I can't think of any other distilleries I could do that with. So this one's 23 years old. It sold out immediately. Impex, who is our importer, basically told all of our reps we can't use these for samples because they knew that it was going to sell out immediately. Again, shuttered distillery, 23 years old. You used to see quite a lot of this from independent bottlers. Signatory has bottled a bunch of these. Gordon MacPhail has a ton of Imperial, and they still do annual releases of Imperial. But there's less and less of it around, fewer and fewer casks available. And like I said, we started in 2011 wanting to bottle an Imperial. Here it is 2019. It took us 8 years to even find a cask. Thankfully, the cask that we found is quite delicious. So off the bat, I'm getting that minerality to it, this sort of warmth, flintiness, beach grass kind of thing going on. But what can't be ignored is this beautiful note of chamomile tea, maybe with a little bit of honey. There's definitely a malty characteristic to it. Anybody who's been to a malt distillery will have likely smelled malt Anybody who's ever done this trick where you shake the glass and then rub your hands together, wait for it to get dry, and then smell your hands like that, that's the smell of malted barley, and you can really get that in the nose here. There's another floral aspect to it. There's chamomile. I'm getting a little bit of echinacea as well. Wow. An absolute hint of lavender in here. And almost like a caramel-like note going on there. Or a nutty toffee. It's a really expressive nose. It's delicate, but there's a lot going on. And it's showing you, hey, here are the notes that I have. You don't have to dig too deep, but the notes that I'm getting aren't boom pow in your face notes. All right. And for the taste. It's everything that I look for in Imperial. The thing with Imperial is that they made such a consistent whiskey. This is why Pernod Ricard liked it so much before they demolished it. It was a very consistent whiskey that worked well with their blends. If you're going to create a blend that you want to produce in a repeatable fashion, you want whiskey from distilleries that can produce spirit in a very consistent manner. So my point being is this is just an excellent example of Imperial. It's just it's not off profile. It's not showing you weird, wacky notes. It's saying, hey guys, this is what Imperial does, and this is how it does it well. I'm going to do another sip and actually give you some of these tasting notes. That rich maltiness is there. That minerality is coming through. The palate is almost a mirror to the nose itself, which is kind of nice. Sometimes we want whiskeys to evolve. You're presented with certain scents on the nose, and then you take a sip, and those scents evolve into similar yet different flavors on the palate, and then the finish changes and so on. With this, it was almost as if the nose is saying, hey, you're going to get on the palate what you got on the nose. So a nice, consistent, delicious little whiskey. Oh, it's like beignets, like sugared pastries. Oh, that's nice. All right, another sip. Carrot cake frosting. There really is a richness to this. Some of that citrus that I got before, I kind of said citrus, and I mentioned beignets, and on that second nose, I think I mentioned citrus before on the nose, but I'm definitely getting it on the palate as well. All right, last sip. Let's see what the finish does. A little bit of white pepper coming through. Candied lemon peel. And that rich sort of malty character just sits with you. Really long, wonderful finish. I chose to taste this whiskey today and share my notes with you today because it's a bit of a special day for me. It is the night before my oldest daughter's bat mitzvah. And like I said before, Impex, our importer, whom I also work with, said no samples were to be pulled of this whiskey. I opened my own personal bottle, and I couldn't think of a better time to do it. And to do it in front of you good people. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed these tasting notes, hopefully you'll look around for a bottle of Imperial. It is popping up around the country. Even in Alaska, I just found out that we have distribution in Alaska now, which is kind of cool. I think we updated our website there. But you will find this around along with the other two Kleinlich whiskeys that I reviewed last week or maybe a week and a half ago. and I will be doing some more videos. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped a little bit, and I wish you all the very best. Cheers, l'chaim, prost, yachida, kampai, nastrovia. I think that's a good one too. All right. Cheers, everybody.